All right, so self-esteem is like the rind or the outside of fruits. When you look at yourself like this, you think you look like this because you forget that there's something wonderful inside, something useful inside, something that everybody can gain from inside. In this case, it's an avocado. I could have literally put up any type of fruit, like any type of fruit. I could have put up a watermelon, same thing. When we look at ourselves from the outside in, all we see is the skin. All we see are the rough, bumpy parts. All we see, are the parts of us that we don't like. But what happens when you open an avocado? I'm not going to do that right now. But what happens when you open an avocado or any fruit? Any fruit. What happens? Oh, it's amazing. Now it's nutrient rich. Now it's wonderful. Now it's something that can be help to those around you. But you can't see that because you're looking from the outside in. And even though you hear from other people, hey, no, you're not bad. You're wonderful. You're not ugly. You're pretty. You're not a loser. You just haven't won yet. Nobody really wants to hear what other people have to say because all they see is this. Because they're looking too hard. They're looking from the outside in. They're not trying to look for something wonderful. When people are first looking to raise their self-esteem, and I know because I do it too. When people are first looking to raise their self-esteem, what they're really looking for is for someone else to do it for them. Because it's so hard to do it yourself. You know how I know? Because I go through it too. I get depressed just like the rest of you. I look at myself and I'm like, dang, ugly as hell. I forget that there's something good and golden inside me. I think the first step to raising your self-esteem is to remember that there is something good and golden inside of you. It comes from you. And here comes G. Okay, you want to... Problems and issues that we have with self-esteem come from deep inside us. All right? So I know I've said this before, but I will say it again. All right. So when our brains are formed inside of us, our brains are awesome things, but our brains are fickle. They are fickle as hell. Because, and I say this because when we hear one negative thing about ourselves, we carry it with us for our whole life. But when we hear one positive thing about us, we literally do not retain it. We need to hear it again and again and again and again and again and again. Now, let's flip that script. People with extreme autism, all right? Theirs is wired the other way. We don't know why. I don't know why. I'm not a doctor. I just know this fact. When they hear one negative thing, it's just like whatever. But when they hear one positive thing, it stays with them forever. Why is that? For pain, there's no quick fix for emotions. Here's the thing. It takes only a moment to create a traumatic experience, and it takes a lifetime to get over it. Same thing with like what I said. It only takes one negative word that can stay with you for the rest of your life, and you can have 100,000 positive words, but it will never take the sting away from that one negative one. Seriously, she is the most pampered of all Chihahas. Your Majesty. Okay, and building up your self-esteem. First, you have to build up a reason why you need your self-esteem up. Sound crazy, right? It's not, I guarantee you. Why do you get up in the morning? You get up because you have to have a reason to. If not, you would probably lie in your bed like a bump on a log all day long. Am I right? So if you don't have a reason to get out of bed, you don't. And the sad truth is, when it comes to, why is there an empty bag of chips on the table? When it comes to self-esteem, this same concept applies. If you don't have a reason for your self-esteem to be better, well, you just won't work on it. Ooh. And like everything in life, it has to be worked on. Little by little by little. So in order to really, really, really understand self-esteem, you have to really understand your reasons for doing things or not doing things. My reason for getting up in the morning is, well, mostly because my arm hurts. And I have to either put ice on it or heat. That's it. I could probably sleep in all day too. Couldn't I, Pterodactyl? Any one of us could. If we don't have a reason to eat, we're not going to eat. What is our reason to eat? Because we're hungry. What is our reason to get married? Because we want to spend the rest of our life with someone. No, it isn't. It's because we want tax benefits. What is our reason for getting a whole bunch of rabbits and collecting them? Because we love them. Slightly obsessed. But what is our reason for taking care and doing self-care and working on our self-esteem? What is our motivation behind it? If you're depressed, there is no motivation behind it. That's why it gets so hard to start. Else control of my brain. Yes, I've been talking with my therapist a lot lately because Maria went through my stuff again and threw a bunch of my stuff away. I was asleep and she woke up and she cleaned the house a couple of nights ago. And she literally just threw out all my, not all my stuff. I can't say all my stuff, but like some stuff that I was holding on to for sentimental purposes, and she ditched it. Short little conversation with the person, and I was talking with my therapist about it. And then, because I was mad. I'm like, why are you touching my personal stuff? Last year, she took a whole bunch of my clothes and she donated them to freaking, where did she donate them to? Goodwill. A whole bunch of my stuff. Then she just put in bags and was like, well, that's out of here. I was in my teens. I've only done it once or twice in my teens, but most definitely in my 20s. I would call random people when I was depressed. I would just pick a name out of the yellow pages. Or is it the yellow? No, white pages. Out of the white pages. And I would just call a random number. And I'll be like, hi. And they'd be like, hello. And I'd be like, is this so-and-so? And they'd be like, yeah. And I'd be like, how's your day? And they'd be like, who is this? And I would tell them who it is. And then they would be like, what are you calling for? I'm like, oh, just to chat. And they're like, oh, do I know you? I said, no, but we could be friends. And I honestly was so desperate for people to talk to that, yeah, in my 20s, I would call rando strangers.